For many people listening, the elephant in the room in their life is debt and managing debt. Let's talk about this. And by the way, getting into debt can happen even to the nicest of people. Back in a minute. Good morning. Good morning. This is Jan from New York City. Channel name Jan from New York City saves money. And I truly love, love, love helping others to keep some more of their own hard earned money. Could that be you? Let's talk a minute about an elephant in the room for many people, and that's getting into debt. Many people, well intentioned, tried to do the right thing, maybe misunderstood something in an agreement, maybe just never learned how to handle credit cards, maybe just didn't learn a lot because they didn't have good examples in front of them growing up. I'm just saying, this is real life and real life can happen to anybody. Let's talk about debt for a minute. Let's talk about logical debt management steps. This is, in my opinion, the most logical one of all. Never get into debt in the first place. Listen, if you don't have any debt, that's wonderful. And a person could save a lot of money by not paying interest to banks, for example. Many people never get ahead financially. Why? Because of that elephant in the room called debt. Now, the best thing to do is to pay off all of the debt and never, ever, ever get into debt again. I know it sounds easier, better, easier said than done, right? But keep your eyes on that prize. Keep your eyes on the main goal. For example, you could take a sheet of paper, example, put down the total amount that you owe. Again, it's looking at the numbers. That's really important. Put that sheet of paper somewhere that's visible in front of you to remind you of those goals. Very, very important. And update that number every month. It might sound a little tedious, but that visual aid is important. It's important to look at things sometimes. It really, really is. Now, the next one sounds pretty logical as well, right? Make debt payments, for example, make it your business to pay off your debt every single month. Well, that sounds like so common sense practice, right? But sometimes people do it and make those debt payments on time every month. Make a plan, set a budget, know when your debt payments are due, know when they're due. Example, credit card payment, if it's due on May 17th, you could get a paycheck, for example, on May 15th, then you know to budget for that time. You have to know your numbers, know your dates. So therefore, make sure that you get to do that. You don't want to incur any late fees. This is where a lot of people have problems with those late fees, okay? It's not even funny. Also, some people think they're getting ahead by making only the minimum payment. Not really. Look at the statements that you get. See how much of your payment actually goes towards interest. When you make a minimum payment, most of that payment goes towards interest instead of the principal balance. Okay. So, for example, you could find that out, let's say, after a $35 minimum payment is made and $31 goes towards interest and only $4 goes towards the balance, for example. At that rate, it really is a waste. It really is a waste of so much money and even your time too, and barely paying off the debt. Some people don't know that important fact. That to me, even to this day, we would think that, well, more people know, maybe a few more know than a decade ago, but still there are people who don't know this. They think they're paying down their debt every time they throw them on a minimal payment. Not a great idea. And of course, the experts suggest the avalanche method of making payments. And under that debt avalanche method, a person pays off the debt with the highest interest rate first. So you get rid of the highest interest rate first. Let's say if you have a credit card that charges a 15% APR, and let's say another type of debt, like let's say a student loan charges 5% APR, and let's say another loan you might have charges, let's say 3% APR, you're going to focus the attention on the highest one. So in that case, you would focus your attention on the 15% credit card. Get rid of that. Just get rid of that. There is no feeling like being debt free. Just think of the money you can literally keep, save, spend, or do all three, if you know what I'm saying. It's a great way to look at it. Think of all the money that you have, so many options. Some people, when they become debt free, initially don't even know what to do with the money they're no longer spending on paying down the debt. They're kind of in like an overwhelmed situation. But let me tell you something, if there's ever a situation you don't mind being overwhelmed in, that's definitely one of those situations for sure. Now, getting back to another method, experts have said another option of debt repayment would be the snowball method, because sometimes the avalanche method might be too overwhelming. So, what would be your style? For example, if you feel overwhelmed, pay off your debt using the snowball method. And the snowball method is like just going around the other way and just taking the smaller payments, paying that off right away, and just check mark, check mark, check mark, and getting rid of things. I love check marks in general. When I get a job done, okay, like if I write down a list of tasking that I want to get this thing done or these things done by, let's say I have a goal, a mini goal of 9 a.m. in the morning. I'm an early riser, so, and I'm a morning person. So for me to suggest that, oh, Jan, you want to get these things done by 9, 10 o'clock at the latest, I love that check mark mentality. Yay, I recorded. Let's say it's Monday and I want to record next Monday's video. Yay, check mark. Got it done. Okay. Let's say I want to do the laundry this morning. Yay, check mark. Let's say I want to block out 2 hours for batch cooking. Yay, check mark. It is such a nice feeling of getting things accomplished. I was listening to the news the other day. I don't want to forget to mention this. And they say that people's minds are not wired to be multitaskers. I'm like, where did that come from? Because I've multitasked for years. I'm not saying like certain things, like if I want to write something, I have to stay laser focused. If I'm in the middle of a writing project, that's not the time for me to, unless I have a slow cook meal going on. Yeah, okay, I'm getting two things done. But that slow cooker is doing all the work. I already did the initial work. Then I could sit down and write a project. But people have been multitasking for a long time. Before I forget, I want to ask you, what's your view on multitasking? What's your view on debt management? Let me know. Are you living a debt free life? How does it feel if you are living a debt free life? Are you almost there? Are you in the midst of it? Are you in the trenches, or are you just sitting down and sorting out? By getting rid of that elephant in the room, that big, large elephant in the room called debt, because it's on your mind all the time, whether you know it or not. I believe it is. I'm just taking a good guess. It would be on my mind. It would be on my mind. So I'm venturing to take that leap of guessing it might be on that person's mind. There are ways, and there are ways. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Trying to find that video clip, the one that we love of the shore. Where are you, video clip of the shore, as I try to find you? Okay, hang on. I love that clip. Have an amazing, fantastic day. And don't forget to do the following. Take good care of yourselves and your families.